Think about the last time you wanted to know something. You didn't look it up or search the web. You Googled it. This company has managed to turn its brand name into a universal verb for human curiosity.
It is wild how much we rely on them. But honestly, isn't it just a giant yellow pages? Why did this specific search engine become the center of the universe while others like Yahoo or Ask Jeeves just faded away?
That's the trillion-dollar question. Today, we're looking at Google LLC, a company that manages the two most visited websites on the entire planet and holds enough data to basically map the human psyche.
Okay, let's go back. How did two guys in a dorm room manage to own the front door to the internet?
It all starts in 1996 at Stanford University. Larry Page and Sergey Brin were PhD students who realized the early web was a mess. Searching for something back then was like looking for a needle in a haystack where the hay was also on fire.
I remember those days. You'd type in pizza and get a conspiracy theory website about crusts or something. It was useless.
Exactly. Most search engines ranked pages by how many times a keyword appeared. Page and Brin had a better idea called backrub. Thankfully, they changed the name later. They decided that a website's importance should be determined by how many other reputable sites linked back to it.
So like an academic citation system, but for the whole internet? If everyone is pointing at one site, that site must be the authority on the topic.
Spot on. They renamed it Google, a play on Google, which is the number one followed by 100 zeros. They officially incorporated in a friend's garage in 1998 with a $100,000 check from a co-founder of Sun Microsystems.
A garage startup that actually started in a garage. It sounds like a tech cliche, but for them it was real. Was the world ready for it?
The world wasn't just ready. It was desperate. By the time they went public in 2004, Google search was already the gold standard. But the founders didn't want to just be a search engine. They wanted to organize all the world's information.
That's a massive ambition. How did they go from a white search box to owning my email, my phone's operating system, and my thermostat?
They spent the next 2 decades on an acquisition and innovation spree. They bought Android in 2005, which basically gave them a window into every person's pocket. Then they bought YouTube in 2006 for $1.65 billion, which looked like a massive overpayment at the time.
1.65 billion for a site where people uploaded cat videos. That sounds like a steal now. YouTube is basically the new television.
It really is. They didn't stop there. They launched Gmail, Google Maps, and Chrome. Each of these products conquered their respective markets. By 2015, the company had grown so large and spread so thin into things like life sciences and self-driving cars that they had to reorganize.
Right. I remember the Alphabet thing. Why create a parent company? Was Google getting too big for its own britches?
In a way, yes. They created Alphabet Inc. to separate the money-making side, which is mostly advertising, from the moonshot side. Larry Page moved up to run Alphabet, and Sundar Pichai took over as the CEO of Google. Pichai eventually took over both roles in 2019.
But beneath the surface, it's all still driven by those ads, right? That's the engine under the hood.
Absolute dominance in digital advertising is their lifeblood. They've built an ecosystem where you use their browser to use their search engine to find a video on their platform, while their AI tracks what you like so they can show you a perfectly timed ad. It's a closed loop.
It's impressive, but it's also a little terrifying. I mean, they've had their fair share of failures, haven't they? I still have a pair of Google Glass gathering dust somewhere.
Oh, the Google graveyard is huge. Google Plus, their social network, was a ghost town. Stadia, their gaming service, flopped. Even Google Reader has a cult following of people who still mourn its death. But they can afford to fail because search and YouTube are such massive, unstoppable ATM machines.
So where does that leave us today? They aren't just an internet company anymore. They're doing quantum computing and AI. Is there any part of our lives they don't touch?
Very few. Google is now leading the charge in artificial intelligence with models like Gemini. They provide the infrastructure for the modern web through Google Cloud. They even own Waymo, the self-driving car company you see testing on the streets of San Francisco and Phoenix.
But with that much power comes a lot of heat. I see headlines about antitrust lawsuits and privacy concerns every other week. Are they a monopoly?
Regulators in the US and Europe certainly think so. They've faced billions in fines for allegedly stifling competition and abusing their market position. There are also deep concerns about how much they know about us. They know where you go, what you buy, and what you're worried about at 2 a.m. based on your search history.
It's the ultimate trade off, isn't it? We get all these world class tools for free, but the cost is our data and the potential for one company to control the flow of information for the entire human race.
That's exactly the tension. We live in a Google-fied world. They have mapped the physical world with Earth and maps, and now they are trying to map human intelligence with AI. Whether they remain the most powerful company in the world depends on if they can navigate these legal battles and the new competition from companies like OpenAI.
It's a long way from a research paper about back rub. What's the one thing to remember about Google?
Google transformed from a simple search tool into the fundamental infrastructure of the digital age, proving that whoever organizes information ultimately controls the world's attention.
That's a lot to process. That's Wikipodia, every story on demand. Search your next topic at wikipodia.ai.